Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, friends. Thank you for joining me on this episode of True Crime Past and Present. I want to dive into the classic and sincere case and everything that has been going on regarding this case. So, I know a lot of us follow the case. We've yesterday they had trial. I'm sorry, they had an arraignment. um, we knew more information. We found out more information. For those of you that have not, let me go ahead and give you a quick rundown, and we're gonna go into a couple things I want to discuss. A couple things I've been finding, and just looking back at the case itself, and everything's coming back into play. Um, so according to the district attorney, when they gave the the conference regarding the case. I'm just so excited. I'm so sorry. Um, they shared a possible timeline when the kids were killed. So they're saying that possibly they were killed between September 1st and September 30th. Um, according to the grand jury indictment. So that's how they went ahead and had a arrest warrant for Triselle and Jacqueline West. It is also said and rumored that a week prior to the actual arrest, they had another meeting with BPD where they wanted to ask him additional questions. They wanted to go ahead and get clarification questions that they had. And so it seems like they had an inkling that something was coming, because that is when all of a sudden they were riding around in an RV. Now, according to a lot of the people that have followed the case and they live around there and they know more about the case, had said that they already knew that they were living in an RV. But when the arrest information went out, so it went out about 2 days ago, and it was around 5 p.m., I want to say, because I remember I was making dinner and I saw the alert on my phone stating that there was an arrest warrant for Triselle and Jacqueline. A couple hours later that evening, we find out that they were arrested and they were booked in Kern County, right? And then if you guys have not subscribed, I'm gonna recommend him. Oh my God, I just love him. AV Watchman, United We Stand. He has been on top of this case, I want to say, since day one. He has been very passionate about this case, a lot of information he has shared from the beginning, has been playing out. And he has a whole playlist on the kids. So if you guys want to know more information, go ahead and check him out. He is awesome. But he went out there when he heard that they had been pulled over in a highway in the RV, and he brought us images of the RV. The RV, for those of you that have not seen it, apparently it was not the RV that they were initially traveling on. And this particular RV had cameras, like security cameras outside. Also noted, apparently, they were wearing disguises. So to me, that's why I think they got a no bail bond, because they are at risk. They were fleeing the county. Maybe they were heading. I mean, the only place you can really take off in an RV in the state of California would be Mexico or in another state. But I mean, they were heading down, going south. So I'm thinking Mexico. I mean, it's about a 5-hour drive from Kern County. Um. So yeah. So that was a shocker. I mean, that in itself, it's like, when they start the trial, it's like, what are you gonna say? That you were just out off-roading somewhere? No, no. Now, according to the arrest affidavit and to all the information that has been out there, I don't want to go um get all technical about it, but basically what it stated was The kids were killed um 3 months before, between September 1st and September 30th. It is alleged that a week after the kids went missing, some of the kids started to come forward and share information, which now makes sense. As all of you guys recall that have been following this case, Chief Walker had come out in one of the initial press conferences and had always said he had suspected foul play in this case, right? Now, Triselle and Jacqueline and the other kids had moved to the Cal City home around September. So it makes sense why the cadaver dogs and why the dogs were not hitting. And they were hitting only like in few places around the house. So maybe they brought with them some of the boys' things. I'm not sure, right? All this is speculation, entertainment purposes only. I need to say that. But it's just interesting to know that obviously Chief Walker had this information that the other children had shared that they were basically told by Triselle and Jacqueline that they need to beat up the kids, right? So when they gave that press conference, and if they did do a poly a polygraph, it would have been they would, I mean, they would have not shown any deceit because technically, right, according to this information, it was because of the beatings they were getting from the siblings that they passed, right? Now, not only did they kill two kids, they traumatized four other kids, right? Now, another thing I want to point out, there's a couple things. Have my notes ready. When they went to court yesterday, they pled not guilty, and the prosecutor requested um, to seal the order and place a gag order barring the attorneys, the investigators, and the witnesses from publicly commenting on evidence. And the motion is scheduled for next week. Of course, I'm gonna go ahead and follow that and let you guys know what happens. But I kind of agree with this motion. I know we all want to know what happens, but if it means protecting and assuring that justice is served, by all means, please go ahead and place that gag order. We can wait to have all the details. I think the main focus now is we need to find where the bodies are. The DA had said that this is a no body case at this point. So, in my opinion, I think this is a time where they need to go ahead and get Jacqueline. I think Jacqueline will be the weakest link. I think they need to pressure her. They need to offer her some type of deal. Not sure what kind of deals they can offer her, but offer her a deal and at least for her to give up the bodies. Where did he bury them? Where are they buried? Tresel's attorney, his name is Timothy Hennessy, and Jacqueline's is Alexia Torres Stallings. Now, I've gotten mixed information regarding this. I I haven't confirmed anything, but it is believed that possibly Tresel's attorney is a private attorney, possibly. We won't know more as the trial begins. The trial is set for May 23rd. However, due to the attorneys being recently assigned, they might have to delay it. Jacqueline's attorney seems like she was court appointed. Um, and like I said, Triselle attorney Timothy seems like it was a private private, like a private purchase, a privately assigned, maybe from the family, not sure. Um, Now I want to go back to 3 points that um I wrote down here. Sorry guys, I'm just looking at my notes real quick. Okay. So now that we know kind of a time frame from when the kids disappeared. I know there's been a lot of pressure put on the West family, the grandparents. I know that there's been a lot of people that have been protesting in front of the home, even prior to this, even a couple months ago. I know there were a couple creators out there, trying to get information, trying to pressure the neighbors to see what have they seen, trying to actually talk to the grandparents, but they wouldn't budge, they wouldn't talk. But I know in one of the few, as I think they only gave around two um, interviews, they said they had seen the boys. I just cannot confirm what was the time frame they said. I did go back to Chief's Walker initial interview that he did with one of the reporters. And yeah, he did say that the grandparents did confirm seeing the kids, but he didn't want to give a date. I think at that point they were already working on this grand jury indictment, not sure. Um, but I'm very interested. And if my recollection is right, because it could be wrong, right? That's why I was trying to find the facts. I want to say they had said it was during Thanksgiving week, which, again, entertainment purposes only, my opinions. If that was the case, then they were lying. If these kids were murdered in September. So, yes, I know that we're all upset, but I mean, if the grandparents knew, if maybe one of the other grandkids had said something to them, then they should be charged as an accessory, my opinion. Also, so there is in the Casa Loma apartments, which is where they lived before they went into the home in Cal City. A lot of the neighbors in the Casa Loma apartments had said that they wouldn't really see the kids. They weren't really like let out to come and mingle with all the other kids, but they would see Triselle. And Triselle always had this long stick, kind of like a ninja stick. I'm not even sure, like a walker stick. And you see him also when the creators are out protesting in front of the home, the grandparents' home. He's out walking his dogs, and he has that big stick. I hope they took that stick. The first image I saw of him with this stick was the first. It's when I had thought, oh my gosh, he did something to them. Besides the body language in the interview, just the demeanor he had with this stick. Because AV Watchman actually is the YouTuber. He kind of like not confronted him, but he was walking next to him, and the way he was handling the stick was kind of like in an aggressive mode. You guys need to go check that out. And I thought to myself, that is probably the intimidation he would use with the other kids. Like, hey, you better go and beat up Sincere and Classic. If not, I'm gonna get you with this stick. I'm thinking, right? And I really hope they take that stick and they break it and they burn it, if that's the case. Now another point. I was trying to look for this interview, but I couldn't find it. There was this is all alleged. There was also a grocery outlet worker that had come forward, and she had mentioned how she had She didn't know until probably a weeks later, maybe possibly a month later, that she actually saw one of the boys with Jacqueline and that the boy looked very sickly and that Jacqueline had told her, "Oh, it's because he has cancer." I am wondering if this woman saw, I'm hoping she did go forward and she made a statement to the proper authorities, and maybe she's one of the people that were part of the grand jury indictment. I mean, we're never going to know, right? It's a mystery. But, I wonder, I went back and I was thinking about that after I learned more information regarding the case, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm wondering if she was possibly one of the last ones that saw the babies alive. I just cannot recall the date, and I want to say it was in September, but again, I could be wrong. Um, but that's just so mind-boggling to know that little by little, all this information kept piling up. And, if it is true, if let's say this grocery worker outlet is one of the witnesses, or even some of the neighbors at the Casa Loma, a lot of these people were kind of found by a lot of the creators. Well, at least what we know, right? We don't really know what the authorities know or don't know. Yeah, guys, but I mean, I know there's a lot of other creators that are talking about this case, but these are just a couple of things that I came across and I thought they need to be pointed it out. Um, I'm even hearing that Triselle and Jacqueline are receiving mail in the jail, and that they are being in these mails that they're asking them to give up where the boys are at. I mean, any type of pressure. I mean, at this point, they're cornered in. They don't have each other to rely on, right? And this is just a very sad ending to this case all around. And I think it's even sadder to know how their ending was of the kids, right? Here they are living with these animals that the babies think, oh, they're taking care of me. And it's like they really didn't have anybody. They only had each other, right? What caused these animals to do this? I hope they say why, which there is no reason. There is no reason. One last point I want to talk about. So, because this case has been a national case at this point, has been brought national news, and I'm hoping that it would bring some type of reform into the Department of Family Services department itself. There is a second couple or a second set of parents have come forward that have said that Triselle and Jacqueline where were their kids' adoptive parents. I'm not foster parents, and that they haven't seen them for 5 years. And then when they reach out to Department of Family Services, they tell them they're fine. I think at this point, Department of Family Services, you guys need to show proof of life for these kids, because if not, it's just going to open a whole can of worms for you. And I'm all for protection of the kids, but cases like this, where obviously the system failed, I mean, and it was a failing all around, right? It's a failing from the system, the adoption people that approve, or because that's a whole different set of workers there, people that approve these homes to be foster homes and not probably vetting these people, and not obviously not whoever the social workers were of the other two kids, obviously they were not making their right visits. Obviously, if they participated in this, I don't know, guys. I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.